Hi guys, and welcome to my Neutron digital to analog converter DAC V1. I got it for $165 directly from Neutron store. Link to the store and my test system setup description in the description of the video. So, some of you may remember I've mentioned earlier that I'm a Neutron Player avid user. Neutron was started in 2011, as I found on the web, and I was using their software. I was using Neutron Player on all my portable devices for more than a decade now. At some point, Neutron Player was a source for my Stax SF007 Mark I electrostatic headphones setup, and when I was preparing for HiFi R4, this guy review, I've discovered that Neutron had created its first device, its first audio device, and obviously I had to get my hands on one of them as soon as possible. As I've said, it's $165. You can get it directly from Neutron store, along with some other accessories like the case, and I'll tell you why the case later on, and things like nice USB cables. Okay, so that was a no-brainer for me, as Neutron Player is the best, most transparent and most musical player, software player I've ever used. And don't even get me started on the parametric equalizer it provides. So, some specifications. As per manufacturer data, it's using Sabre ES9219Q as a digital to analog converter inside, but stay tuned, it's not using it only connected to the USB receiver, but it does have internally dedicated NXP K-series ARM Cortex M4 CPU. So basically, all of the processing is done in external custom-coded CPU. No, it's not made on digital to analog converter chip from Sabre. So it has internal ultra-low noise power supply. What's interesting, it has two internal master clocks. Most, if not all, dongles, I think all of the dongles that I've tested are using only one master clock. Dual clocks are reserved, let's say, for serious desktop class devices. An example here, Gastart X26 Pro is using double master clocks. Semi-Breve DA50 and DA50 Pro are using just one master clock. So it may give you a kind of idea about the fidelity that the author of this hardware was aiming for. Okay, so using ARM Cortex M4 processor means that it has custom firmware with digital signal processor and parametric EQ. You are able to update the firmware via PC application or the mobile application, and this firmware is being rapidly developed. I think I'm on the version 47 at the moment, but I'm not sure. I think it was 47 last time I've checked. What's interesting, it supports headsets, not only headphones, but headsets with remote controls. It's able to use all three buttons of such a controller, and it does have efficient power management, again, because it's using custom firmware and custom CPU. As for the audio signal parameters, it's accepting anything up to 32 bits and 384 kilohertz, and it's also able to decode DSD up to 256. It has some very impressive total harmonic distortion numbers, because THD for this little guy is specified as 0.00046% at headphones with 32 ohms, and it gets as low as 0.00028%, at anything above 100 ohms. You can take a look at the Audio Science Review measurements, where it topped the charts of measured portable audio devices. Okay, so moving on to the build quality. This is all metal build with Gorilla Glass on top of it. It's using OLED display. It's not LCD, it's OLED. So it has great black color and it's using minimal amounts of energy. And as I've said, this is scratch-proof Gorilla Glass 3. We have a USB connector here. We have a 3.5 millimeter single-ended connector here, and we have information about the producer. This is, by the way, the Neutron Player logo. Let's focus. So what I was going to tell you, it's also using internally some kind of gyroscopic controls, because as you can see, it doesn't have any kind of external physical buttons, but instead of that, you're able to control the device by tapping on the side or on the top of the dongle, and the actions connected to your taps are defined in the software configuration. So you're able to define different actions for the side taps and from the front taps. Okay, so that's all about the build for this little guy. Now about the case. Why the case? That's the first question. The thing is that if you're having something like that, that's made of aluminum and Gorilla Glass in your pocket, along with your mobile phone, that would be probably also using some kind of metal frame and very large, very delicate screen, you do not want these two to be touching to each other, because it will inevitably lead to scratches or damages on your phone screen or on your dongle surfaces. So the answer is to use some kind of case for your dongle, and let me tell you what I mean by showing you, for example, HiFi FC3. It's basically all corners and edges, and the same goes for Tangim, many metal edges. So you do not want to have something like that moving freely in your pocket along with your mobile screen. And you can get a very neat, very small real leather, custom-made case for your unit. It has a very small magnetic lock, so as you can see, it's locking like that, and it fits the device like a glove. You have a cutout for USB, you have a cutout for your headphones connector, and that's it. It's very small, it doesn't make the device any larger, and I think you can get it in 5 different colors or something like that. Okay, so let's get it out. I think that kind of case should be maybe not mandatory, but very useful accessory for all or most of USB dongles. You can also get Neutron branded cables. This is just a solid, good quality, no frills, gold-plated cable with nylon braiding and Neutron logos. Looks nice, works good. What would you want more from a cable? Okay. Now, before we will move to the part of the review where I will describe you sonic qualities of this small guy, I'd like to show you the application that it's using. You have 2 versions of the application. One is meant to be used with personal computers. It runs on Windows systems, and the second one is designed for mobile usage, and it runs on your mobile devices. It basically allows you to do the same things as the application designed for PC, including firmware updates. And I will show you the PC version because it will look better on this camera screen. So give me a second and I will get my notebook here. So here you are. I know we could just do some kind of screen recording, but I am lazy in a way and I would like to talk to you while I'm recording this video. So what I am doing is I'm connecting the digital to analog converter to my PC with USB-C port. Yeah. Let's wait a second for it to be recognized and I can connect. Yep. And we can see that I've connected to this small guy. Okay, so I won't be showing you every single option here, but I will just point you out to some of the more interesting ones. The first tab is for controlling behavior of your device. You can choose behavior of the display, you can flip the display, and you can invert the colors if you want to have, for example, I don't know, black letters on the white background. You can decide if it's auto-rotating, and you can set the contrast of the display. On the controls, you are able to define the actions that will happen when you're tapping the device from the sides or from the top or bottom. Then the most important, almost most important tab, the digital to analog converter settings. You can choose one of the filters that are defined by Sabre chip, or you can choose one of the filters defined by Neutron manufacturer. So let's apply this one. And the most important tab would be DSP. All of my review was done with DSP disabled, but the most important thing about this device, except for the exceptional sound quality, is ability to use DSP. If you have ever used Neutron Player earlier, you may know and you may realize how good and how excellent is a parametric equalizer in that player. And the same engine, the same code that runs in the player now is running inside of this little guy. So parametric equalizer, a must to try. Another important thing is frequency response correction, because you are able to set and to modify the frequency response for your headphones. And you can use a lot of presets for almost, I would risk that, let's say 90% of the headphones available on the market, because the software is using external database with presets. So you're able not only to define your own preset, but you're also able to use one of the predefined sets. And then there you have a complete set of combinations of different options with equalizers and frequency response corrections and crossfit, if you like that one. So let's leave it off and let's move to microphone. As I've said, the device is able to use headsets, not only headphones, so you're not only able to be using your buttons on your headset, but you can also define how the microphone will behave. You're able to define the frequencies for the sampling with your microphone. So for example, you may want to disable the lower ones in order to be sure that you'll always get the most the best quality of your microphone when you're doing calls with your digital to analog converter, with your Neutron DAC V1. And the last one is pretty important because it controls the firmware upgrades. And as you can see, I was wrong. I think I received the package with firmware in version 47, but the current one is 54. Okay, so you basically are able to use the same settings on the mobile application. You can switch everything, you can configure everything. And the good thing is that everything gets saved in the device, which means that you can configure everything only once, and you can use your dongle with all the devices, and it will not lose any settings that you've made earlier. So let's move that out of the way, and let's get back to the review, and let's talk about the sound quality. Okay, so let's play some music while I'll be talking. As you could see, I was waking up the device by double tap, and we can see the state of our music. It's pulse right now. We can see the number of the beats for the beat stream, and we can see the sampling frequency on the display. And let's start the music. You can see it's playing. I've connected my my ARIA to this little dongle. So let's talk about the sound quality in the meantime. Okay, so as you can see, I'm using at the moment HiFi 4 with Neutron Player as a source for this little guy. And let's talk about the sound quality. Let's start with the bass, as usual. The bass is very deep, very fast, and the bass goes very low, almost makes my ARIA Stealth a bassy headphone. If you've heard ARIA, you know that ARIA, as long as it can go low, I wouldn't call it bass headphone for bass heads. But with this little guy, it's so powerful that it's able to bring the bass, the deep bass, out of my HiFi ARIA Stealth. It's also very clean. This bass is also very clean, and it creates great textured background. For example, a track that you all surely know, Long After You're Gone by Chris Jones. Low guitar notes are flowing at the beginning of the track, and you can easily follow them. It's a very musical track, and the bass line is fluid, it's flowing constantly. Mid-range, it's very clear, and again, it's very detailed. It has very nice natural timbered voices. This allows you to follow all the small nuances in articulation, in a flow of the words. You can get all of the emotions that are there in the vocals, and you can appreciate melody created by the singer just by using the words of the song. I know it's a weird example here, but I really enjoy the opening track of classic Dune soundtrack called Prologue. I know it's weird, but the way the words are spoken, the way they are changing the tempo, the timbre, I think it's beautiful, and I really love that track, although it's not a musical track. I love that recitation of words. And also, it's an interesting thing because this is one of my tracks that I'm using for testing emotion. It's not music, these are just words, but it's very easy to hear if your equipment is able to convey emotions by using this particular track. Okay, so moving on to treble. The treble is very open and transparent. It creates no listening fatigue. It has excellent detail in strings, brass, and everything that vibrates. It's nicely extended, and it's smooth at the same time. So this is one of the best treble extensions that I've heard, if not the nicest, that I've heard in all of the USB dongles and also headphone amplifiers that I've been testing. It creates absolutely no fatigue, but at the same time, everything is sparkling as it should be sparkling where it's needed to be sparkling. So, moving on from the treble to the detail. The first thing that will strike you is very clean and very black background. Even with highly sensitive headphones, even with highly sensitive IEMs that I was using. The detail on this one is stunning. That's one of the devices that makes you rediscover your music library, and that's what I actually did during my own listening sessions. I was listening over and over to the tracks, not only to the test tracks, but to my whole music library, because it was able to find and highlight some of the things that I've never heard before, and some of them were weird, some of them were funny, and some of them were just beautiful. For example, I know this is a second weird example, but can you hear with your equipment, with your current equipment, in I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston, that at the 8 seconds mark precisely, she closes her lips. This is a very small, very low in volume sound. This is the first time that I actually heard that. I wasn't able to hear that with any of my speakers so far. Yes, but I will hunt for that from now on. And I wasn't able to hear that with any other headphone amplifier that I have. So I know the example is weird, but get that track, move to the 8 seconds mark, and try to hear that she closes her lips. That kind of level of detail we're talking about here. So, moving on to imaging. In my experience, if the device has a great transparent mid-range and treble, and it has great detail, there is a very high chance that the imaging will also be done right. And it's the case with this little guy, because it has excellent imaging, unlike all other headphone amplifiers that I've had tested and that I own. And that would be Acliam, that would be this little guy that you've seen lately, that would be HiFi, that would be Tangent Space, and that would be Creative that you haven't heard or seen earlier. So, all in all, best, excellent imaging, best of all other amps that I own. Again, example for that, classic Cats in the Cradle by Harry Chapin. 7 seconds mark, can you hear the strings on the left and to the back? Left side and to the back. That's hard to get even with a proper quality stereo setup. Not the fact that the strings are on the left, the fact that the strings are in the back of your soundstage. And again, this is the first time I'm able to hear something like that with portable mobile setup. What I mean by that is that, if you're using headphones, you're probably realizing that the sound staging on headphones works differently than with speakers. With speakers, you can clearly hear the sounds outside of your head. If you're using headphones, if you're using mobile devices, it's not that simple, because with most of the headphones, with most of the mobile devices, the sound staging will be happening between your ears, inside your head. There is, in my experience, there is very little amount of hardware designed for mobile use, and very few headphones that are able to move the imaging for my ears, outside of my head. And this is one of the guys that's able to do that, and it does it in a brilliant way, because I'm not only able to hear that strings on the left outside of my head, but I'm also able to hear them being a little to the back, which is amazing. So, in kind of summary, the first thing, when or if the Neutron will release its desktop class digital to analog converter, I will be the first one in line to buy it. This guy is that good, and it has all of the magic that Neutron Player has to. So basically, there will be a separate review for the R4 and Neutron Player in it. I'm digressing here, but the sound quality from this little device is better than sound quality from R4 in balanced mode. And balanced mode here is using two ESS Sabre fully blown 9018 chips. It's actually using 4 of them, but there are 2 setups, one for DSD, separate from everything else. But still, this little guy in single-ended sounds better than R4 with balanced mode. And this one is already very good. So, getting back to my summary. This little guy is so good that I want to have it in a desktop format. It's one of the smallest devices in this class, but it's by far the biggest sounding one. I loved it with all of the headphones that I've tried it with, so matching will be no problem. It has a very clean black background, so very sensitive IMs will be no problem. The power output is high enough to drive Aria Stealth version 3, so you'll be fine with also with the larger headphones. And obviously, if you won't be listening to the ear deafening levels. So, if you haven't read it between the lines by now, I really love this little guy. I really love this little amplifier. And take a look at the Audio Science review measurements, where it lands, as I said earlier, in top 4 best ever tested mobile devices. This measurements in this case translate into this amazing sound quality. So it's totally unexpected and wonderful surprise, and it gets my highest recommendation, it gets my highest prices, and I really am waiting for something that good in desktop format. So if you're watching this, let's root for Neutron to create something that good, but let's say for stereo sized, and possibly in black, so it will match my other setup, and possibly with as little buttons on the outside as possible, because I like clean black devices. Okay guys, thanks for watching this review. If you've enjoyed this video, you can support my channel by buying me a beer using super thanks under the video, and yes, the beer money goes towards beer, and I always try to get the one that will match the currency of the thanks, meaning that I'm trying to get beers from the United States, from Germany, some UK ones too, etc, etc. I hope you enjoyed that little video. Stay tuned for more reviews like that. If you're interested in Neutron Player review, that one is definitely coming. I was, as I said, when I realized that this little guy exists, I was actually going to prepare for the Neutron Player on HiFi for review. So, thank you guys, and I hope you'll enjoy the rest of your day. See you next time. Bye.